Good morning, all. Today we will read textbook in Geography for Class 8 CBSE, Social Science, Resources and Development, page number 40, chapter number 4, Agriculture. Gurpreet, Madhav and Tina were walking through the village where they saw a farmer tilling land. The farmer told them that he was growing wheat and had just added manure to the soil to make it more fertile. He told the children that the wheat would fetch a good price in the mandi, from where it would be taken to factories to make bread and biscuits from flour. This transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economic activities. These are primary, secondary, and tertiary activities. Primary activities include all those connected with extraction and production of natural resources. Agriculture, fishing, and gathering are good examples. Secondary activities are concerned with the processing of these resources. Manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloth are examples of this activity. Tertiary activities provide support to the primary and secondary sectors through services. Transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising are examples of tertiary activities. Agriculture is a primary activity. It includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agricultural activity. Two-thirds of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. Favorable topography of soil and climate are vital for agricultural activity. The land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. In the map, you can see that agricultural activity is concentrated in those regions of the world where suitable factors for the growing of crops exist. The word origin column has the word agriculture is derived from Latin word ager or agri means soil and culture means cultivation. We can say in this figure 4.1 world distribution of arable land. The green part is arable land. We can see in various continents all the green parts is arable land means where the crops and agriculture is done. We can see the most of place in India is agricultural part, agricultural land. We have one do you know column. It has the some meanings of some terms. Agriculture, the science and art of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. It is also called farming. Sericulture means commercial rearing of silkworms. It may supplement the income of the farmer. Pisciculture is breeding of fish in specially constructed tanks and ponds. Viticulture is cultivation of grapes, and horticulture is growing vegetables, flowers, and fruits for commercial use. Farm system. Agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. The important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. Some of the operations involved are plugging, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The outputs from the system includes crops, wool, dairy, and poultry products. We can see figure 4.2 the farm system of an arable farm. How this farmer is doing his work, like we have three parts: inputs, process, and output. So inputs we have machinery, which is tractor, seeds, and chemicals. This farmer is using these inputs for plugging, sowing, and doing plugging, sowing, and spraying, and then output is his crops. Then we can see the figure 4.3, which is related to, we can see the human inputs, then shortage, labor, machinery, and chemicals, and physical inputs are sunshine, temperature, rainfall, soil, and slope. Types of farming. Farming is practiced in various ways across the world, depending upon the geographical conditions, demand of produce, labor, and level of technology. Farming can be classified into two main types. These are subsistence farming and commercial farming. Subsistence farming is this type of farming is practiced to meet the need of the farmer's family. Traditionally, low levels of technology and household labor are used to produce on small output. Subsistence farming can be further classified as intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. In intensive subsistence agriculture, the farmer cultivates a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climate with large number of days with sunshine and fertile soils permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Rice is the main crop. Other crops include wheat, maize, pulses, and oilseeds. Intensive subsistence agriculture is prevalent in the thickly populated areas of the monsoon regions of South, Southeast, and East Asia. Here is a column of interesting fact which is organic related to organic farming. In this type of farming, organic manure and natural pesticides are used instead of chemicals. No genetic modification is done to increase the yield of the crop. Then primitive subsistence agriculture includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. Shifting cultivation is practiced in the thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. These are the areas of heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. A plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and burning them. The ashes are often mixed with the soil and crops like maize, yam, potatoes and cassava are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot. Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture. Nomadic herding is practiced in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia and some part of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. In this type of farming, herdsmen move from place to place with their animals for fodder and water along defined routes. This type of movements arises in response to climatic constraints and terrain. Sheep, camel, yak and goats are most commonly reared. They provide milk, meat, wool, hides and other products to the herders and their families. We have one do you know column. It is shifting cultivation is known by different names in different parts of the world. In do you know column we have shifting cultivation is known by different names in different parts of the world. Jhuming Northeast India, Milpa Mexico, Roca Brazil and Ladrang Malaysia. Figure 4.4 is showing nomadic herders with their camels. Figure 4.5 showing a sugarcane plantation. Commercial farming. In commercial farming, crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in market. The area cultivated and the amount of capital used is large. Most of the work is done by machines. Commercial farming includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantation agriculture. In commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat and maize are common commercially grown grains. Major areas where commercial grains farming is practiced are temperate grasslands of North America, Europe and Asia. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares. Severe winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. In mixed farming, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. It is practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. Figure 4.6 showing a banana plantation. Plantations are type of commercial farming where single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton are grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required. The produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Major plantations are found in the tropical region of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some examples. Major crops. A large variety of crops are grown to meet the requirement of the growing population. Crops also supply raw materials for agro-based industries. Major food crops are wheat, rice, maize, and millets. Jute and cotton are fiber crops. Important beverage crops are tea and coffee. Rice. Rice is the major food crop of the world. It is the staple diet of the tropical and subtropical regions. Rice needs high temperature, high humidity, and rainfall. It grows best in alluvial clay soil, which can retain water. China leads in the production of rice, followed by India, Japan, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. The unfavorable climatic conditions, as in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops are grown in a year. We can see in figure 4.7 it is rice cultivation. Then figure 4.8 showing wheat harvesting. Figure 4.9 showing bajra cultivation. Wheat. Wheat requires moderate temperature and rainfall during growing season and bright sunshine at the time of harvest. It thrives best in well-drained, loamy soil. Wheat is grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and India. In India, it is grown in winter. Millets. They are also known as coarse grains and can be grown on less fertile and sandy soil. It is a hardy crop that needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall. Jowar, bajra, and ragi are grown in India. Other countries are Nigeria, China, and Niger. Figure 4.10 is showing maize cultivation. Maize. Maize require moderate temperature, rainfall, and lots of sunshine. It needs well-drained, fertile soils. Maize is grown in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. Cotton. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days, and bright sunshine for its growth. It grows best on black and alluvial soils. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and Egypt are the leading producers of cotton. It is one of the main raw materials for the cotton textile industry. Figure 4.11 showing cotton cultivation. Interesting fact: who discovered the coffee plant? There are different versions about the discovery of coffee. In about AD 850, Kaldi, an Arab goat herder who was puzzled by the queer antics of his flock, tasted the berries of the evergreen bush on which the goats were feeding. On experiencing a sense of exhilaration, he proclaimed his discovery to the world. Jute. Jute was also known as the golden fiber. It grows well on alluvial soil and requires high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. This crop is grown in the tropical areas. India and Bangladesh are the leading producers of jute. Figure 4.12 is showing coffee plantation. Coffee. Coffee requires warm and wet climate and well-drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for growth of this crop. Brazil is the leading producer, followed by Colombia and India. Tea is a beverage crop grown on plantations. This requires cool climate and well-distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves. Needs well-drained loamy soils and gentle slopes. Labor in large number is required to pick the leaves. Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka produce the best quality tea in the world. Figure 4.13 showing tea plantation. So many people are plucking the leaves of tea. Agricultural development. Agricultural development refers to efforts made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. This can be achieved in many ways, such as increasing the cropped area, the number of crops grown, improving irrigation facilities, use of fertilizers, and high yielding variety of seeds. Mechanization of agriculture is also another aspect of agricultural development. The ultimate aim of agricultural development is to increase food security. Agriculture has developed and at different places in different parts of the world. Developing countries with large populations usually practice intensive agriculture where crops are grown on small holdings, mostly for subsistence. Larger holdings are more suitable for commercial agriculture, as in USA, Canada, and Australia, with the help of two case studies of farms, one from India and the other from the USA. Let us understand about agriculture in the developing and a developed country.